everybody, it's me. I'm back again. It's the end of the year. It's Christmas Eve today. It probably won't be Christmas when I post this, but Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Got a lot of positive response from my Blu Ray Collection video last year. I know it's been a little over a year, but I figured, it's the end of the year, end of the decade, if you can believe that. There's no better time to revisit my collection. I've gotten quite a few since last year, so let's just get right into it. So first we have the Alien Anthology again. Alien 1, Aliens, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection. I still have not seen the last two. The first Alien is one of my favorite movies of all time. Aliens is a good sequel, but it's not as good to me. Uh-oh, got a loose disc in here. Prometheus, a prequel to Alien, which I think is pretty good. A lot of people don't seem to like it. Same thing with Alien Covenant, another prequel. Sequel to the prequel. Okay, making sure there's no loose disc in this one. I quite enjoyed this one too. Neither of them are quite as good as the original Alien. Then we got one of my favorites again, Back to the Future, the trilogy. The first one still is just perfect to me. Then we got Die Hard 1 through 4. Recently just showed my wife the first one for the first time. Because she loves Brooklyn Nine-Nine, as I do, and there's a lot of Die Hard references, so she was like, let's just watch it. And it's a Christmas movie. I don't care what anyone says. It's a Christmas movie. And it's one of the better ones, I think. Okay, then we got the Harry Potter collection. I'm going to go through these speedily. Sorcerer's Stone. Awesome. Chamber of Secrets. Awesome. Prisoner of Azkaban. Still probably my favorite. Goblet of Fire. Pretty good. Order of the Phoenix. Probably one of my top 3, actually. I like that one a lot. Half-Blood Prince, which we just read the book. I've never read the books before. I'm reading them for the first time. My wife is listening to me read them. This is probably actually my favorite book, but not my favorite movie. Deathly Hallows Part 1. And we're in the middle of Deathly Hallows, so a lot of this movie has already happened in the book. And then Deathly Hallows Part 2. It might be tied for my favorite with Azkaban. Then we got 3 of my favorite movies of all time. Lord of the Rings Extended Edition. I love this box set. Probably one of the first Blu-rays I got. Got it for Christmas probably about 7 years ago. And then also recently I picked up the theatrical versions. Just because actually Fellowship and Two Towers, I actually prefer the theatrical runs. I still love the extended versions, but a lot of the extended footage on those two really kind of bogs down the pacing. But Return of the King's Extended is like start to finish. I love it. But every once in a while I do prefer watching the theatrical versions. And then we have the prequels, which I still really like, despite what anybody says. I still really like all 3 of these movies. Hobbit, Unexpected Journey. Yeah, I forgot the name. The Desolation of Smaug, probably my favorite one. And The Battle of the Five Armies. I saw all 3 of these in theaters, and I loved all of them. Not near as good as Lord of the Rings, but that was never going to happen anyway. All right, next, I rearranged my Blu-rays a little bit, so now I have the entire MCU collection in one stack, and I have them set to the order that I watch them, not the order they were released, but the order chronologically that I like to watch whenever I go back to them. First, we got Captain America: The First Avenger. Actually, that movie gets better every time I watch it. Then we got Captain Marvel, the one that everybody for some reason loves to hate. I recently rewatched it, and I actually, it's pretty good. Then we got Iron Man, still probably one of the best ones, especially after Endgame. This movie just got even better. And Far From Home, actually. Spider-Man Far From Home made this movie a little better too. And it was already great. Then we got kind of the black sheep of the bunch, The Incredible Hulk. Not a bad movie, but as an MCU film, every year it kind of gets less and less relevant, I feel like. Then we got Iron Man 2. A lot of people didn't like this one. It's definitely not as good as the first, but, it's still good. Thor, first one. Still pretty good. Then the first Avengers. Very, very hyped movie when it came out and did really well, and I still really like it. Iron Man 3, the only Christmas Avengers movie, or MCU movie. Thor: The Dark World, definitely one of the lesser ones. If the Earth stuff wasn't in the movie, it would be so much better. One of my favorites still, Captain America: Winter Soldier. This was my favorite one for a long time, until other ones came out. Guardians of the Galaxy 1, really good. And in my personal opinion, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is the better movie. I know. To me, movies live or die on their villains, and I think Ego is a better villain. Avengers Age of Ultron, probably my least favorite of the Avengers movies, but it's still a lot of fun. Just a lot going on. Ant-Man, Paul Rudd, probably the most underrated Avenger, I would say. And we got Captain America Civil War, definitely one of my favorites, a lot of people's favorites, because it's awesome. Like, why wouldn't you love this movie? And we got Spider-Man Homecoming. Spider-Man is tied for first. It's him and Thor kind of go back and forth between which one's my favorite Avenger. But Michael Keaton as the villain is perfect. Black Panther, in my opinion, one of the more overrated MCU movies. Still good, but, you know, best picture. We got Doctor Strange. I actually think this is kind of an underrated MCU movie. I think it's actually pretty awesome. My second/third favorite of the entire bunch, Thor Ragnarok. I love this. I love that I put a green cover on it. It just makes it even better. Thor Ragnarok is awesome. Of course, Avengers Infinity War. I like to think of this as Endgame as one movie, but they're not, actually. Infinity War, amazing. One of the best. Ant-Man and the Wasp. I think this is a little better than the first one. And then my favorite, one of my top favorite movies of all time now, Avengers Endgame. Everything I wanted it to be, and more. And then, of course, the tag, the coda, I guess, to Endgame is Spider-Man Far From Home. They did Mysterio right, and they did Spider-Man even better in that movie. All right, now we got the Digibook/Digipack stack. We got Aladdin, animated, and I did pick up the Aladdin live action. This is a lot better than I thought it would be. Still not going to touch the original, but, you know. Batman v Superman. I haven't watched this in a while, but, you know, it was pretty fun. A lot of stuff going on in it, but whatever. Beauty and the Beast, animated, the one that I prefer. And then Beauty and the Beast live action, the one that my wife prefers. I like both of them, but I prefer the animated, obviously. I just said that. Blade Runner, the original, and then the vastly superior sequel, in my opinion, Blade Runner 2049. I'm a sucker for Ryan Gosling, so. Fantastic Mr. Fox. Love me some Wes Anderson. Ghostbusters 1 and 2. Still have not seen the second one. Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Always love me some David Fincher. In fact, I think Alien 3 is the only one I haven't seen of his. Gone Girl. Ben Affleck proving people wrong that he actually can act. Goodfellas. Another one of my favorites of all time. I haven't seen The Irishman yet. I really want to see that. Schindler's List. Movie everyone should watch at least once. Silence of the Lambs, one of the best thrillers ever. The Social Network. I always thought this was a weird cover. Social Network. Yeah. And Taxi Driver. All right, into the alphabetized mass of Blu-rays that I have. All right, first, 10 Cloverfield Lane. Awesome. Kind of underrated or underwatched. 10 Things I Hate About You. Ledger and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, amazing. 12 Years a Slave, kind of a modern Schindler's List almost. 127 Hours, brutal. 21 Jump Street and 22 Jump Street, I love these equally. Hilarious movies. 28 Days Later, pretty awesome zombie flick. 310 to Yuma. 300. Gerard Butler's only really great movie, honestly. 50-50, one of my favorites. Cry every time I watch that movie. 500 Days of Summer. Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Zooey Deschanel, can't go wrong. About Time. The Accountant. A little bit of an underrated movie for Ben Affleck. I liked it a lot. Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, and When Nature Calls. Jim Carrey at his wackiest, for sure. Admission. I still have not seen this. I bought it on my wife's recommendation, and we haven't watched it. So, Air Force One. Die Hard on the Plane, except the president is the hero. Alice in Wonderland. Only the animated. I will not ever get the live action one. Almost Famous. American Beauty. Right, I forgot. Yeah, American Beauty. Kind of a weird movie given Kevin Spacey's situations in the past. American Gangster. From the American movies. American History X. Kind of a hard movie to watch, but really good. American Hustle. American Psycho. One of the best performances I've ever seen, Christian Bale. American Sniper. No, not American. Animal Kingdom. Kind of a cool little Australian gangster flick, that one. Annihilation. Kind of a underrated / underwatched one from last year. Apocalypse Now. I still have not seen this. I've owned this for quite a few years. Just haven't watched it. Apollo 13. Classic. Aquaman. I really liked this one. It was just slam bam action superhero madness. Argo. Awesome. Arrival. Probably one of the better sci-fi movies of the decade. This is one I just watched last night, actually. The Art of Self-Defense. This is an underrated, underwatched one from this year. I didn't see like anybody that I watch on YouTube cover this movie. Wow. If you haven't seen this movie, give it a shot. It's really offbeat and really dark, but it's also really funny. Arthur Christmas. I just watched this for the first time this year. I don't know why it took me so long to watch it, but it's a really great Christmas movie. Another one from this decade that I just now watched is Attack the Block. It's got John Boyega, Boy Finn from Star Wars. Really fun movie. If you like alien invasions. The Aviator. Classic DiCaprio. The Babadook. Pretty good horror movie. Baby Driver. If you're a musician and you just appreciate music, you'll really love that one. Bad Words. I love me some Jason Bateman. I mean, this movie is just Jason Bateman through and through. Bambi. Classic Disney. All right, let's get into the Batman movies. First, we got Batman. Classic. Batman Returns. The Christmas Batman / Tim Burton all the way. Batman Forever. It's all right. Batman and Robin. Probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen, but I own it because it is just so hilarious. Batman Assault on Arkham. The Suicide Squad movie we should have gotten, but we still have it in animated form. Batman Begins. One of the better ones. One of my favorite movies of all time, of course. The Dark Knight. I know everybody loves that movie, but it's well deserved. And The Dark Knight Rises. Batman and The Dark Knight Returns, Part 1 and 2. Really awesome animated Batman movie. Batman Mask of the Phantasm. A lot of people's one of their favorite Batman movies. I really liked it, for sure. Batman Under the Red Hood. Another awesome one. Batman Year One. That concludes my Batman movies. A Beautiful Mind. Love me some Russell Crowe. Beetlejuice. Classic Burton, Michael Keaton. Begin Again. Another fun music movie. This is one of my coworkers recommended to me. Better Living Through Chemistry. Didn't have really good reviews at all. And it's not the best movie, but if you like Sam Rockwell and you like offbeat comedies, this is definitely worth a watch, I think. Big. Classic Tom Hanks. Big Hero 6. The Big Lebowski. One of the best comedies ever. The Big Short. I've only watched this once. I might watch it again. I don't know. Big Trouble in Little China. I love Kurt Russell. Birdman. This is not in the slipcase. I'm letting one of my coworkers borrow it. But yeah, I do own it. I didn't give him the slipcover just because I don't trust people with slipcovers. Black Hawk Down. Black Klansman. One from last year that I recently picked up. I thought it was pretty good. I'm excited to see Tenet with what's his name? John David Washington. That looks so good. Black Mass. Not the best gangster flick, but still pretty good. Black Swan. Blade. Excited for the Mahershala Ali Blade coming out sometime. Blade 2. Don't own Blade Trinity because I don't care to own it. The Blind Side. Blood Diamond. Gotta have DiCaprio. Bloodfather. Love me some Mel Gibson flicks. Blow. Also love Johnny Depp. Blue Valentine. This is a... Yeah, don't watch this with your significant other, ever. Bohemian Rhapsody. A lot of people loved this movie or hated it. I didn't really see... Yeah, I... Could have been better, for sure, but I still really liked it. Love me some Queen. Bone Tomahawk. I was not prepared for things that happened in that movie. Book of Eli. I like that movie, okay. Bottle Rocket, first Wes Anderson film. Bourne Identity. The Bourne Supremacy. And The Bourne Ultimatum. I do not own Bourne Legacy or Jason Bourne. I didn't even see Jason Bourne. I was told not to, and I listened. So, Boyhood. Brave. Not one of my favorite Pixar movies, but it's okay. Braveheart is an excellent movie. One of my favorites. Brawl in Cell Block 99. From the man who brought us Bone Tomahawk. I like this one a little bit more. Breakfast at Tiffany's. I finally watched this, I think last year. Movies like this aren't my thing, but I enjoyed watching it with my wife. She really loves that movie. Breakfast Club. Probably my favorite John Hughes movie. One of the better 80s teen movies. Bridge of Spies. Pretty good, pretty good. Bridge to Terabithia. Another one that'll make you cry like a little baby. Bring It On. I watched that movie more than I care to admit. Bronson. Underrated Tom Hardy movie. If you like Tom Hardy, watch this movie. It's the best acting I've seen from him ever. Brothers. This movie is the one I bring up when people say Tobey Maguire can't act. He can definitely act. He just, Bruce Almighty. More Jim Carrey. Fun. A Bug's Life. I was obsessed with that movie when it came out. Bumblebee, the only Transformers movie I own. I want to get the first one at some point if I ever find it for cheap enough. But this was actually a really good movie. I love Haley Steinfeld. Buried. Loved this movie, but it left me feeling quite depressed. Cabin in the Woods. Pre-Thor days for Chris Hemsworth. The Cable Guy. I just got this because it just was re-released. Haven't seen it, but I've heard really good things. And like I said, I've loved Jim Carrey, so I'm excited to watch that one soon. Cape Fear. Love me some De Niro and Nick Nolte. Captain Fantastic. I only got this because I love Viggo Mortensen, but it's a really good movie. Captain Phillips. Casino. Man, going through these like De Niro and Joe Pesci movies makes me really want to watch The Irishman. Casino Royale, the best James Bond movie, one of the better action movies of last decade. And Skyfall, probably the only James Bond movie actually I've seen from this decade. I haven't seen Spectre. And I'm excited for the next one, whatever it's called. Castaway. Catch Me If You Can. Really kind of underwatched, I would say. Steven Spielberg movie. Really fun. Chef. This movie is just so feel good. I love it. Love everything about it. Children of Men. Christmas Vacation. I recently watched this one for the Christmas season. Recently had people say they tried to watch it and did not like it at all, and I can understand why. It's definitely not for everybody. Chronicle. One of the better found footage movies I've ever seen. Cinderella, the animated, and Cinderella live action. They're both about the same for me, I would say. Cinderella Man. Love me a good boxing movie. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Guess what? I still haven't watched it, but I at least took it out of the wrapping so that it looks like I have. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Fun. Cloverfield. Another pretty good found footage movie. Clue, the movie. I just saw Knives Out last month, and it reminded me a lot of this movie. It's kind of like an updated version of it. Coco. Another one that'll get you in the feels. Collateral. Love me some Tom Cruise. Colossal. A kind of underrated movie, but also really strange. So I don't fully recommend it to everybody, but I also do. The Conjuring and The Conjuring 2. I think The Conjuring 2 is better, but I like both of them. I like to watch them around Halloween. Constantine. I love watching Keanu Reeves play these kinds of roles. Cool Runnings. Jamaica, got a bobsled team. The Count of Monte Cristo. Pretty fun movie. Crawl, I just saw this recently. I love me a good like shark, crocodile, any kind of like creature feature, and this was definitely a fun one. Crazy Stupid Love. Gotta have me some Ryan Gosling. As I was saying that, I was like, no. I recently finally watched Dallas Buyers Club. I stayed away from this movie for so long because I was mad at it for stealing the Oscar from Leo DiCaprio, which I still think he should have gotten. But I gotta say, after watching it, Matthew McConaughey and Jared Leto both, they earned their Oscars, for sure. Darkman. Still haven't watched this one. I always forget that I have this movie. I don't know why. Because I love Liam Neeson and I love Sam Raimi. I'm going to watch it soon. Date Night. Really only got this because I love Steve Carell. The Day After Tomorrow. I owned this for quite a few years. Because of Jake Gyllenhaal and because my wife hates this movie. And I just had to get it and watch it to see what all the fuss is about. But I haven't yet. Daybreakers. Kind of an underrated vampire flick that I like to watch around Halloween. Dazed and Confused. Pretty good movie. Dead Poet Society. One of Robin Williams' better roles. I mean, he's great in everything, but you know what I mean. Deadpool 1 and Deadpool 2. I like them both about equally. Excited to see what they do going forward now that Disney owns Fox. Deepwater Horizon. Love me some Mark Wahlberg. Speaking of which, The Departed. The Descendants. I finally watched this movie recently, and it's actually really good. I haven't seen George Clooney play a role like that. I don't think ever. Despicable Me 1 and Despicable Me 2. Never saw the third one. But I saw Minions, and that was enough to make me never want to watch any of those movies again. The Disaster Artist. Man. I don't even know what to say, but it's great. District 9. Everybody loves that movie. I think it's pretty good. Disturbia. We just got Disney Plus. I've been watching Even Stevens again, and I'm sort of on a Shia LaBeouf kick, so I had to watch this one, pick this up. Still love it. Django Unchained. Love me some Tarantino. Donnie Brasco. Young Johnny Depp. Donnie Darko. One of Jake Gyllenhaal's first. Dragged Across Concrete. Haven't seen this one. I saw Chris Stuckman review it, and I was really intrigued because I like the director. He's the guy who did Brawl and Cellblock 99 and Bone Tomahawk. And I love Vince Vaughn and Mel Gibson and pretty much everyone that I've seen on the cast list. So I'm going to watch it soon, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. Dread. I really want a sequel to this movie, but I'm still glad that we at least got this. Okay. Favorite movie of all time. You guys know what it is. Drive. It's perfection to me. Nothing will top it for a long time. It just means a lot to me. It's what got me into film. The Drop. Love Tom Hardy. Due Date, aka the updated Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I still really liked it. It's fun. Dunkirk. Love me some Chris Nolan. E.T. Classic. Eastern Promises. Kind of an underrated, underwatched movie. I love Viggo Mortensen. Easy A. Before Emma Stone was huge. Ed Wood. I finally watched this one. I really liked it. Definitely a different kind of movie for Tim Burton. Edge of 17. One of the better recent teen movies. Edge of Tomorrow. Ooh, love this movie. Eddie the Eagle. Pretty fun, feel-good sports movie. Edward Scissorhands. 8th Grade. I really liked this movie. Bo Burnham. Dude's got talent. Election. Love me some Matthew Broderick and Reese Witherspoon too. Elf, of course. Christmas. Just watched that recently. Elysium. Emperor's New Groove and Kronk's New Groove. We're just going to pretend that one's not there. Yeah, you can only get them in a 2-pack on Blu-ray. Enchanted. I really like this movie. Before Amy Adams was who she is now. Oh, guys, do yourself a favor and watch this movie, End of the Tour, with Jason Segel and Jesse Eisenberg. I just watched it like a couple weeks ago. I cannot believe that more people are not talking about how great this movie is. So underrated. It came out in 2015. I was like, how have I not heard about this for the past 4 years? So good. Everyone, please watch this. I think it's on Netflix still. Yeah, it's a really good movie. End of Watch. Jake Gyllenhaal. Speaking of Enemy, more divisive Jake Gyllenhaal movie. I really like it though. Equilibrium / aka The Matrix, kind of. Escape from New York. Love Kurt Russell. Everest. I finally watched this one recently. Well, it was probably about a year ago, January. Ex Machina. Machina. What am I saying? Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. I did watch Crimes of Grindelwald, and it was okay. I'll get it eventually, but it was pretty disappointing. Also, Fargo. Awesome. Father of the Bride Part 1 and 2. Very nostalgic movies for me. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Classic. Gotta have it. Fight Club. What else can you say about Fight Club? The Fighter. Finally got Christian Bale an Oscar. Finding Nemo and Finding Dory. I love them both, but obviously Finding Nemo is the superior film, in my opinion. Finding Neverland. Kind of a forgotten Johnny Depp movie where he actually plays a normal kind of dude. First Man. Love Ryan Gosling and I love Damien Chazelle. Gosh, there was something in my eye. Flight. Denzel. Flushed Away. Kind of a brush to the side animated movie. I remember seeing this in theaters and it's still actually pretty good today. It's not like an animated classic or anything, but Forrest Gump, speaking of classics, definitely a classic film. The Founder. I just had McDonald's for lunch, so that's kind of strange. The Fountain. A lot of people think it's pretentious, but I like it. Fracture, kind of an underrated Ryan Gosling flick, and Anthony Hopkins too. Freaky Friday. Rewatch that movie all the time. Frozen. I did see Frozen 2. We did. I actually thought it was pretty good. The Fugitive. Fury. Really awesome war movie from this decade. Galaxy Quest. Probably honestly the best Star Trek movie I've ever seen. I know a lot of people say that, but I mean, it's kind of true. The Game. Game Night. Really liked it. Gangs of New York. Gattaca. Cool little sci-fi flick. Get Out. We'll get to another Jordan Peele movie here in this collection. Get Smart. I keep seeing the trailer for that new Dave Bautista movie, and it keeps saying from the director of Get Smart, but I don't think a lot of critics liked it, so I don't know why they're pushing that name so much. I like Get Smart, okay. Anyway, The Gift, Gladiator, classic, one of my favorites. Glory, awesome. Godfather Part 1 and 2. I do eventually want to see Part 3. I've heard it's okay, but not near as good as the first two. Godzilla, pretty awesome. And I recently just watched Godzilla King of the Monsters. I don't know why people dislike this movie so much. I thought it was a lot of fun. People were complaining about in the first Godzilla, there wasn't enough Godzilla. And then we got a lot more Godzilla in the Monsters, and they were like, it's too much Godzilla in the Monsters. You can't have it both ways, people. I like this one a lot. I like both of them. Anyway. Gone, Baby Gone. Movie that proved Ben Affleck could direct. Good and Bad, the Ugly. There's Clint Eastwood. He's in there. The Good Dinosaur. Good Morning Vietnam. Classic Williams. Good Will Hunting. This actually might be Robin Williams' best performance that I've ever seen. Love that movie. The Goonies, classic. Love the Goonies. Goosebumps. I actually really like this. I didn't see the second one. It's a fun little like Halloween type movie. Gran Torino. Grand Budapest Hotel. Probably my favorite Wes Anderson movie that I've seen. Gravity. I really like this movie, but I think it was way overrated when it came out. Guys, I finally watched The Greatest Showman. And I have to admit, I loved it. Everyone was hyping it up so much that I was just all but certain I was not going to like it, but I did. Green Book, the Best Picture winner from last year. I actually thought it was really good. Green Mile, classic Tom Hanks. And I haven't watched this yet, but I recently picked up Green Room because I love Patrick Stewart, I love Anton Yelchin, and I've heard this is a really great thriller. So I'm excited to watch it soon. And of course, Gremlins, one of the best horror Christmas movies, I guess. Anyway, I gotta get this next stack down. All right, let's keep going. The Gray, kind of an underrated movie from this decade. I think a lot more people should talk about it because it's great. The Guest, before Dan Stevens was The Beast and Beauty and the Beast. Hacksaw Ridge, really awesome war movie. Halloween and Halloween. I have not seen any of these sequels, the original sequels, and I really liked this movie. I know some people were disappointed, and I'm excited to see what they do with the next ones. Yeah, I'm not like the biggest Halloween fan or anything, but I appreciate classic cinema as much as the next guy. Hateful Eight, another awesome Tarantino flick. Heat, De Niro and Pacino in their prime. Heavyweights, Ben Stiller hamming it up, love it. Hell or High Water, sweet movie. Sweet as in like awesome, not like feel good. Anyway, Hellboy and Hellboy 2. I still have not seen Hellboy 2. I've had it in my collection for a while, just haven't gotten around to watching it yet. Her. It's kind of weird watching this and then having watched Joker this year. Very different roles for Joaquin Phoenix. Hercules, classic. Hereditary. Now, I don't know if this was in my collection last year. When I watched this last year, I immediately put it out of my collection. I was like, I'm never going to watch that movie again. It made me feel so gross, so disturbed. And the more I thought about it, I was like, well, that's exactly what the movie was supposed to do. It's exactly what it was going for. And I have to admire the movie for it. And I think I actually put it in my top 10 from last year because few movies have made me as disturbed as this movie did. It just kind of like broke me emotionally. Excellent movie. I haven't seen Midsummer yet, or Summer, whatever. But wow, Hereditary. A History of Violence. Awesome movie. Holes, another classic Shia LaBeouf. Right after he was done with Even Stevens. Love Holes. Home Alone 1 and 2. Home Alone 1 is my favorite Christmas movie. And Home Alone 2 has still got a lot of fun things in it. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Classic. Hook. Oh, nostalgia abounds in this movie. Hot Rod. I think actually between this and Hot Rod is normally Hot Fuzz, but I'm letting my coworker borrow that one as well. So Hot Fuzz is in my collection, in case you're wondering. Hot Rod. This year I recently got into Brooklyn Nine-Nine, so I was really excited to go back and rewatch this with Andy Samberg and Bill Hader too. Hotel Transylvania, fun little Halloween type kids movie. How to Train Your Dragon, How to Train Your Dragon 2, and How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World. All three of these are really good. A really solid animated trilogy. I think the first one's still my favorite, but I really like the other two as well. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I really feel like this movie was just made so that Jim Carrey could just do whatever he wanted. Hugo. Really awesome movie. All right, here we go. Hunger Games. Hunger Games Catching Fire. Mockingjay Part 1 and Mockingjay Part 2. I really think they should have just made this one movie, but because of the trend Harry Potter set, they didn't. Catching Fire, I think, is excellent. Hunger Games is okay, and these two are pretty good, too. All in all, not a bad series of movies. My wife absolutely loves them, so. The Hunt, one of the only foreign language movies I have, but Mads Mikkelsen is amazing in that movie. Hunt for the Wilder People. If you like quirky movies, that's definitely one for you. The Hurt Locker, pretty good movie. I Am Legend. Love me some Will Smith. I Love You, Man. Actually, I was just thinking about just some of the funny moments in this movie. It's a really good movie. The Ides of March. If you love political movies, that's definitely one of the better ones that I've seen. In Bruges, another really awesome dark comedy. Inception, kicked off this decade with a bang. I mean, there's a lot of other good movies in 2010, but you know what I mean. Incredibles and Incredibles 2. This is a really good sequel, but obviously the first Incredibles will always have a special place in my heart. Independence Day. All right. Indiana Jones. Well, this one's just called Raiders of the Lost Ark, but it says Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, but it's just called the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Temple of Doom and The Last Crusade. I love all three of these. I don't know if I could pick a favorite because they're all three amazing. Crystal Skull is nowhere in my collection, and it will never be. Inglourious Bastards, the classic Tarantino. Inside Out, Pixar, still making people cry. Insidious, I did see Insidious 2. It was okay. I didn't really care to see any other sequels. Insomnia, probably the most unknown of Christopher Nolan's movies. Speaking of Christopher Nolan, Interstellar, one of my favorites of his for sure. Into the Woods, another one that my wife recommended. We still haven't watched it, and every person I've seen talk about this movie just absolutely hates it. So I don't know if we ever will watch it. The Iron Giant, however, is an excellent animated movie. One of the best. I still love this little lenticular thing. And I recently just picked up It Chapter 2. Now, I know a lot of people were disappointed with this movie. I loved it. It was, yeah, sure. The whole, like, them taunting him to death at the end was kind of weird, kind of, like, cheesy, silly. But I loved it. I love Pennywise. He's, like, one of the best villains in movies and books and ever. What am I saying? Anyway, I love both those movies. It's a Wonderful Life. Classic Christmas. Jack Reacher. Never saw the sequel. Don't really want to. Jaws. Love shark movies. I haven't seen The Meg, though. Jerry Maguire. Classic Tom Cruise. This is definitely not a great movie, but it's a lot of fun to watch. Jingle All the Way. Wow. I recently watched this again. It had been a long time, and there's a lot wrong with this movie, but I love it regardless. All right. John Wick Chapter 2, and John Wick Chapter 3. All three amazing. I would say the first one's still my favorite. I rewatch it so often. And then probably the third one, then the second one. But both of these are kind of on par. But John Wick 3 this year, I had quite an experience in the theater. Okay, Jumanji and Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle. I actually prefer this one. I know. Sacrilegious, because Robin Williams is great in this movie, but this is actually the better movie, if you ask me. I haven't seen the new one yet, but I've heard it's okay. Jungle Book animated. Haven't seen it. I know. Jungle Book live action. Great movie. And if you're wondering, no, I do not have the live action Lion King because I did not like it. So there we go. Juno, Wuno, Smuno. Jurassic Park, one of the best movies ever made. One of my favorites. The Lost World. A lot of people don't like this movie. I don't know why. Because it's still pretty awesome. Jurassic World. It's a lot of fun. And then we have Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. The more I think about this movie, the more I really don't like it. But I'm holding on to it for now. See what they do with the third one. If they can stick the landing, I might keep it around. Justice League Doom. Justice League Flashpoint Paradox. I would love to see movies of both of these, like live action ones. Who knows? Justice League War. I used to have a lot more DC animated movies, but I got rid of the ones I didn't like. Justice League Dark. Kick-Ass. Awesome movie. Kick-Ass 2. It's not as good. I still have fun with it though. There's just a lot of things in this movie that are in such poor taste. Oh, another underrated, underwatched one from this year, The Kid Who Would Be King. I picked this up on Black Friday, and it is a lot of fun. Great family movie, for sure. Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2. Love me some Tarantino. Love me some martial arts, katana wielding action. Killer Inside Me. Very hard to watch movie. Definitely don't really have many movies like that in my collection. King Arthur. It's alright, you know. King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. Definitely not as bad as a lot of the critics made it seem. King Kong. Little long, but I still like it. King of Comedy. One of the obvious inspirations for the new Joker movie. The King's Speech. Pretty good. Now this director, if you don't know, just released a new movie this year called Cats. Everybody that I've seen talk about it say that it's just atrocious. But I almost want to see it just to scratch the itch that I have. It's curious. It's a curious little movie. The Kingdom. Pretty good movie. Kingdom of Heaven. One of Ridley Scott's more underrated movies, especially the director's cut. If you haven't seen it, give it a shot. Kingsman: The Secret Service and The Golden Circle. Not as good as this one, but, you know, I'm excited to see where they go with it. Let's see. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Love Robert De Niro and Val Kilmer. A Knight's Tale. Love me some Heath Ledger. Kong Skull Island. Krampus. One that I've recently started watching every Christmas. It's not as good as it could have been, but it's still pretty good. Kung Fu Panda 1, Kung Fu Panda 2, Kung Fu Panda 3. Another solid little trilogy. I think the first two are better than the third one, but, you know, it was, like I said, solid little trilogy. Anyway, LA Confidential. Fun. La La Land. Love Ryan Gosling, of course. Tomb Raider. I have not seen either one of these. I only picked them up because I don't know, actually. Lars and the Real Girl. A very quirky movie. Last Samurai. Awesome movie. Love that movie. Lawless. Love me some Shia LaBeouf, Tom Hardy, Jessica Chastain, and what's his name? Guy Pearce. Lego Movie. I did see the second one. It was okay. I don't really care to ever watch it again. Lego Batman Movie, however, is awesome. Leon the Professional. Little Natalie Portman in that one. Lethal Weapon Collection. I still have not seen the fourth one. But, you know, first three were a lot of fun. Liar, Liar. Classic Jim Carrey. And Life. Why do I keep saying the title? I'm trying to think of something to say about it that I can't. All right, before I start, I think I said that I picked up It Chapter 2, which is not true. It was given to me for Christmas by my lovely sister-in-law, Jordan Vickers. Thank you so much. Both her and her husband know how much I love it and Pennywise. So thank you for getting that for me. I just felt bad that I said I picked it up when I didn't. That was not true. So anyway, let's move on to The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. If you love Bill Murray and Wes Anderson, that is your movie for sure. I can't pick this up. Lincoln, a good movie, a little boring though. Lion King, Best animated movie ever. It is the only Lion King that matters to me. Little Miss Sunshine. Fun movie. Little Mermaid. Little Rascals. Not a very good movie, but it is, what am I saying? Anyway, I lost my train of thought there. Locke. Just Tom Hardy acting for like an hour and a half. I think I said that last time. Logan Lucky. Lone Survivor. You want to guess what happens at the end of this movie? It's definitely not in the title or anything. Looper. Awesome sci-fi movie. Lord of War. One of the better Nicolas Cage movies for sure. Macbeth. I'm interested to see if like any high schools show that in place of like reading the book. The Machinist. I recently watched this one. My coworker gave it to me. Pretty good movie, man. It's kind of weird seeing Christian Bale so skinty. Mad Max, the original. Road Warrior, the better sequel. Beyond Thunderdome, my least favorite probably, but still okay. And then Mad Max Fury Road is one of the top 2 or 3 action movies of the decade, and one of my favorites of all time. It's awesome. Okay, these are somewhat controversial. Madagascar, Madagascar 2, and Madagascar 3. I know there are some people who absolutely hate Madagascar 3, and I can understand there's some things that are kind of annoying, and it's right on the cover. You can't. But I like all of them. I do. I can't help it. Maggie. I've only watched this once. I don't know if I'll ever watch it again. I might get rid of it. I don't know. Magnificent Seven. Fun movie. Man of Steel. I recently heard that Henry Cavill is not quitting as Superman, so I'm interested to see what they do with that in the future. The Martian. Matt Damon. The Mask of Zorro. Classic swashbuckling fun. Master and Commander, The Far Side of the World. Kind of an underwatched movie. Matchstick Men, speaking of underwatched movies, I think Matchstick Men is one of them. Another good Nicolas Cage movie. The Matrix, one of the best action movies ever. And then the sequels are, you know, they're there. They're not offensive to me or anything. The Maze Runner, I still have not seen nor do I own the other 2 movies. I heard they're okay, though. I was fine with the first one. Mean Girls. Me and my wife have watched this one so many times. Mean Streets, one of Scorsese's first movies. Meet the Parents. Memento, I think Chris Nolan's first like big movie. Men in Black 1, 2, and 3. I still haven't seen the other 2. The first one's a classic, and I was told that the new one was just not all that great. I heard it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't intriguing enough to go see it. Middleman. I haven't seen this, but my coworker gave this one to me as well. And I've heard it's actually okay, so I might watch it sometime soon. Midnight Special. Little kid from It. The guy who plays Bill. The kid who plays little younger Bill is in this one. Pretty good movie. The Mighty Ducks and The Mighty Ducks 2. I don't have the third one yet. But The Mighty Ducks it's a classic. It's a classic. Minority Report. Classic Tom Cruise. Les Miserables. I don't know if I said that right. Good movie. Misery. Classic Stephen King. All right, let's get all these out of the way in one fell swoop. Yeah, Mission Impossible 1. Awesome. Mission Impossible 2. Not that great. Mission Impossible 3. A lot better. Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. Possibly my favorite. Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. A really good sequel. And Mission Impossible Fallout. Another one that might be my favorite. I love all 3 of the more recent Mission Impossible movies, and if they keep making them this good, I'm on board. Moana. Moneyball. Proved to us that Jonah Hill could really act. Monsters Inc. and Monsters University. Obviously, Monsters Inc. is the superior movie, in my opinion. Moon. If you like Sam Rockwell, check that one out. Moonlight. Moonrise Kingdom. It's more Wes Anderson fun. Mortal Kombat. If you ask me, it's the only video game movie I've seen that was halfway decent. Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Love me some Brad Pitt. Mrs. Doubtfire. Classic Robin Williams. Mud. Kind of an underwatched movie. Check it out. Mulan 1 and 2, I guess. I'm not so sure about the new Mulan movie. I don't want it to be exactly like the animated version, but they're changing so much that I don't really feel like they should even call it Mulan. That's just me. Anyway, moving on. The Mummy and The Mummy Returns. Both really fun movies. The Mummy is kind of a forgotten but really fun movie. Munich, one of Steven Spielberg's more mature films. Muppets Christmas Carol. This is one of those Christmas movies that just makes it feel like Christmas instantly when I watch it. My Cousin Vinny. It's not actually... There we go. Joe Pesci, Marissa Tomei. Funny movie. Funny. Neighbors. Kind of a throwaway comedy, but at the same time, I'm entertained every time I watch it. The Nice Guys. I love this movie. One of the more underwatched movies of the decade, I would say. The Night Before. Started watching this one every year last year. I thought it was really funny. Nightcrawler, the movie that should have gotten Jake Gyllenhaal an Oscar, but it didn't for some reason. The Nightmare Before Christmas. Classic, gotta have it. Nightmare on Elm Street. And No Country for Old Men. Great movie. Nocturnal Animals. I let my coworker borrow that, and he was like, I don't understand anything that happened in that movie. And I'm like, I get it. Nonstop. I still really like the movie, but it is very confusing. The Notebook. Sad movie. Now You See Me. Another one that it kind of loses a lot of its luster the more I think about it. Ocean's 11. One of the best heist movies ever. Oculus. I just watched Haunting of Hill House, which was the same director, Mike Flanagan. That show is masterful. I love it. This was his first feature debut. It's a really good movie, if you like scary movies. Office Space with the Deadpool slip. Funny. Olympus Has Fallen. I haven't seen the sequels, nor do I really care to. Once Upon a Time in America. This movie is over 4 hours long, I believe. Have not made time to watch it, but I really want to at some point. I just don't know when that'll be. Then Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Cool little reverse slipcover. I really like this movie. It was kind of a different movie for Tarantino. It didn't have his usual like slam bam action like every other minute, which Hateful Eight didn't either. But I really like this movie. The more I think about it, the more I really like it. 1 Hour Photo. Very dark role for Robin Williams. Only God Forgives. Yeah. My brain's all over the place right now. Only the Brave. This movie made me cry. Over the Hedge. This is definitely a nostalgic one for me. Kind of an underrated animated movie, if you ask me. It's not the best, but it's certainly pretty good. Oz the Great and Powerful. It's okay, I guess. Pacific Rim. Didn't see the sequel. Didn't care to. Never will, probably. Page Master. Little Macaulay Culkin. Pan's Labyrinth. Parent Trap. Passengers. I thought it was pretty good. Better than most people made it seem like it was going to be. Patterson. I recently saw Marriage Story with Adam Driver. That's probably the best performance he's ever given. But this is a really good one for him too. The Patriot. Patriots Day. Peanut Butter Falcon. One of my favorites from this year, for sure. one of the just most feel-good movies I think I've ever seen. I love it. Peanuts movie. I've had this movie in my collection for 3 years now, and I still have not watched it. And I'm starting to question why it's still in my collection. Perks of Being a Wallflower, one of the better modern teen movies. Pet Sematary. I have not seen the original, but I quite enjoyed this one. A lot of people thought it was bad. Certainly not amazing, but I mean, I thought it was pretty good. Peter Pan, the animated, and the live action, which I think I've said several times I prefer over the animated one. Pete's Dragon. It's okay. Pinocchio. Classic. Okay, all 5 of these get out of the way. Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl. Best one. Awesome movie. Dead Man's Chest. Almost just as good as the first one, if you ask me. At World's End. Got a little weird, but still really good. On Stranger Tides. It's alright. And Dead Men Tell No Tales. You know, these last 2 Pirates movies, didn't really need them, but they're okay. And The Place Beyond the Pines, another really underrated one from this decade that you should watch. Let's just keep on trucking. Thank you for sticking with me this long if you made it. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Classic. Love it. Platoon. Classic war movie. Love it. Pocahontas. And I guess Pocahontas 2. Classic Disney. Point Break. Cheesy as all get out, but it is a lot of fun. Polar Express, a great Christmas animated film. Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stopping. I recently picked this one up because of Andy Samberg, and it's actually pretty funny. Power Rangers. I hear there might be a sequel to this. Not sure. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it either. Predator. Classic. And Predators. I have not seen the new one or the second one. These are the only 2 I really cared to own or watch. Don't know why, but that's just how it is. Predestination. Kind of a underwatched one. I know I'm saying that a lot. I just want you to be aware that there are other movies out there that you might not have seen, and I want you to check them out because people have told me about movies this way. And they're like, this is a really underrated movie. You should watch it. And then I do, and I'm like, oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Prestige. Pretty Woman. It's not that bad. Prince of Egypt. This is a really underrated animated. Whether you're a Christian or not, it's just a great movie. Princess Bride. Of course, gotta own The Princess Bride. Prisoners. One of the earlier movies like Drive that really got me into studying film and filmmaking. There's so much about this movie that is just perfect to me. The Proposal. Gotta love Ryan Reynolds. The Proposition. I think I said this last time. Isn't that kind of funny? The Proposal and The Proposition. Kind of the same thing. Anyway, kind of an underrated Western movie. Pulp Fiction. Definitely not underrated. Everyone loves that movie. For good reason. Puss in Boots. Pretty good movie. Quiet Place. I just saw the teaser for the new one. Hope they don't screw that one up. Raging Bull. Classic boxing movie. The Raid and The Raid 2. Both excellent action movies. Rain Man. Rango. Pretty sweet. Ratatouille. Ready Player One. Cool little lenticular thing right there. Definitely a good move for Steven Spielberg to direct because it was just a lot of fun. Remember the Titans. Classic. Requiem for a Dream. This is another one my coworker bought me and I hadn't seen before. Wow. What a powerful movie. I know a lot of people say this is like one of those movies you watch and never watch again. I probably will rewatch this at some point. It is just such a visceral experience and quite unpleasant in times, but still really good. Reservoir Dogs. Gotta have it. The Revenant. Very, very awesome movie. Wife hates that movie. Mainly just because of all the violence. The Ringer. Kind of a dumb movie, but it's fun. It's dumb fun. Rise of the Guardians. Good little animated flick. Okay, I got a trilogy here. Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and War for the Planet of the Apes. Definitely prefer this one the most. I think they just got better as this was awesome, better, and then the best. Anywho, The Road, very depressing movie, but definitely worth a watch because I just love Viggo Mortensen, as I've said before. Road to Perdition, awesome, excellent gangster movie. Robin Hood Men in Tights, I think the only Mel Brooks film I own. Need to get more of those. RoboCop, the original, don't have the new one. The Rocky Collection. I still have not seen Rocky 5. I was watching all of them and I skipped Rocky 5 because I just didn't care to watch it. Creed, really great movie. I haven't seen the second one yet though. Room, I picked this up a while back actually. I haven't watched it yet. I know everyone says nothing but great things about it. I just haven't really been in the mood to watch it yet, but I will at some point. The Rover, pretty good movie. Royal Tenenbaums, good little Wes Anderson flick. Rush, good movie. Rushmore, another Wes Anderson. Sandlot, nostalgia in a movie if I've ever seen it. The Santa Claus, I don't own the sequels because I don't want to. Saving Mr. Banks, excellent, excellent. Saving Private Ryan, one of the best Steven Spielberg movies. Say Anything. School of Rock, excellent, excellent film. Scott Pilgrim versus the World, another one of my favorite movies, and it kicked off this decade. Another excellent movie to kick off the decade with. Scream. I watched Scream 2 this year on Netflix. It was pretty good, but I think I'm just gonna stick with the original. Secret Window. Definitely some issues with the movie, but I think overall it's pretty good. Seven. Excellent movie. Seven Psychopaths. Now, the more I watch this movie, the more I love it. My cat is walking in. You got something to say? Huh? Can't really see her, so it looks like I'm just petting air. The Shallows. Love me my shark movies. The Shape of Water. Pretty good. Pretty good movie. Shaun of the Dead. Like I said, I don't have Hot Fuzz right now because I let my coworker borrow this one and he loved it so much that I let him borrow the other two Cornetto trilogy movies. So I don't have The World's End in my collection right now either, but I do own it, just so everyone knows. Oh, there she is. There's a little tail. Don't knock these over, please. Shawshank Redemption, one of the best movies ever. I just showed it to my wife this year and she loved it. Shazam. I love this movie. I think it got overshadowed pretty quickly in the theater because Endgame was coming out recently, or pretty soon after. But this is such a great movie. This movie to me feels like a classic 80s or 90s superhero movie. Just nothing but fun, feel good stuff. I don't know. It was just so much fun. I love Shazam. Sherlock Holmes and Sherlock Holmes: A Game of Shadows. I think they officially announced they're making a third one. So I'm excited to see what they do with those going forward. Lid, you're in the way. The Shining, obviously an excellent horror film. I just saw Dr. Sleep last month, and I actually thought it was really, really good. Shrek 1 and Shrek 2. Shrek 2 I watch so often, it's not even funny. And I did not like Shrek 3, so I never cared to watch the other ones. Sorry, my cat was trying to eat something. Shutter Island. Excellent film. It's falling over. Sicario. Excellent Denis Villeneuve film. And then I got Sicario Day of Soldado. Man, what are you doing? She keeps trying to eat stuff off the floor. Day of Soldado. I think this is actually a really good sequel, but obviously not as good as the first. But it is definitely a worthy follow-up. Or a worthy, sequel. Sideways. Kind of an underwatched comedy. Signs. Classic M. Night Shyamalan. Silence. Kind of a hard movie to get through, but if you can make it, it's worth the journey for sure. Silver Linings Playbook. Fun little comedy, dramedy, if you will. Sin City. Sing Street. Ask me, one of the more underwatched movies of the decade. 16 Candles, the first John Hughes film. Sixth Sense, the first M. Night Shyamalan film. And I still think this is an excellent movie. Sleepy Hollow, one of my favorite Halloween movies. Slumdog Millionaire, I just watched this one this year for the first time. I'm trying to eventually watch not every Best Picture winner, but at least from the past couple decades, every Best Picture winner. And I was like pleasantly surprised. I was not expecting much from it, but it gave me a lot. Snatch, fun little gangsta flick. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, classic. Snowpiercer. I haven't seen Parasite. I know it's the same director, but I'm really excited. Excuse me. Really excited to check that one out because I really like Snowpiercer. Source Code. Southpaw. Both really good Jake Gyllenhaal movies. Space Jam. Not a very good movie, but it is nostalgic as crap, so I watch it. Speed. Awesome movie. Then we got Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, and Spider-Man 3. I like all three of these. And I don't care what you say. Then we have probably what might be the best animated movie of the entire decade, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I love this movie. It is everything a Spider-Man movie should be and then some. It is so creative, so unique, and I love it. Speaking of unique, we got SpongeBob SquarePants movie and SpongeBob, the movie Sponge Out of Water. And there's a third one coming out, which who knew that was still a thing people wanted to see. I mean, I want to see it, but you know what I mean. Who knew? Spotlight, good movie. Spy, a movie I watched once, and I might watch again. I'm not sure. I'm not the biggest Melissa McCarthy fan. Stand By Me, classic. Star is Born. I think this is another one that really surprised me. I know a lot of people said it was good, but I didn't expect it to be as good as it was. I really liked it. Star Trek Into Darkness, and Star Trek Beyond. I think all three of these are awesome. First one's definitely still my favorite, but they're all three great. All right, we got a big old collection here. We got Star Wars, the prequel trilogy. I have a lot of nostalgia for those, but they're not that great. And then I had these in chronological-ish order. So then we got Solo, which I actually thought was a lot of fun. Rogue One, which is one of my favorites now of all the Star Wars movies. Then we got the original trilogy. I know everyone loves these so much, and I do too, but I still really like the new movies. Force Awakens, awesome. Love it. Last Jedi, not as good. Got a lot of problems, but I still had fun with it. And you know what? Rise of Skywalker, I've seen it twice now, and I really like that movie. And I've seen so many people on YouTube, so many people being so negative about that movie. And I don't see it. It blew me away, honestly. I didn't think I was going to like it. And I walked out of the theater, like, genuinely shocked at how much I liked it. So there's my Rise of Skywalker rant. Step Brothers. Nothing like Star Wars. Steve Jobs. Another one I watched once, and I'm not sure I'll ever watch again, but who knows. And Stranger Than Fiction, a movie that really showcases Will Ferrell's acting chops. I think he does a really good job. All right, guys, we're almost done. Again, thank you if you stuck with me this long, just watching me show you movies. Anyway, Stronger, kind of the companion piece to Patriots Day. Great movie. Sunshine, good little sci-fi flick. Superbad. It's movies like this that I was like, people never even talked about them in my group of friends because we were all, young Christian kids and movies like Superbad were just like, they were like the Antichrist. I don't know. They were just like, it's just funny that I have movies like that in my collection now, considering my upbringing. Sweeney Todd, Demon Barber of Fleet Street. One of my favorite Tim Burton movies. Swiss Army Man, one of the weirdest movies ever, and I love it for that. Okay. Sword in the Stone. I still have not seen this movie. Just had to pick it up because it was Disney. Taken, the only Taken movie that matters because it's awesome. Tangled. This movie kicked off the decade for Disney in the best way possible. I still think it's better than Frozen, but I know there's people that will disagree, but I think it is. And it really kicked off the Disney Renaissance at the beginning of the decade. I'm talking about this decade a lot because I'm just getting a lot of nostalgia for the past 10 years. Anyway, Tarzan. Excellent movie. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the sequel, Secret of the Ooze. These are just cheesy goodness. I love it. Terminal, classic Spielberg and Hanks. Terminator and Terminator 2. Haven't cared to watch any of the sequels, even the new ones, and I don't even know why they keep making them. That Thing You Do, really fun little movie. There Will Be Blood, one of the best performances given by an actor. Daniel Day-Lewis is just incredible. Oh, speaking of masters, I saw The Master, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, recently, and I was blown away. I knew Joaquin Phoenix could act, but I didn't know he could do it that well. And that was really what sold me when he was cast as Joker. I was like, yeah, it's going to be amazing. Anywho, The Thing, one of the best monster movies out there. Three Amigos, funny. Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Excellent movie. Titanic, my wife's least favorite movie. It's not my favorite either, but I certainly don't hate it. Tombstone, fun western. The Town, probably I think Ben Affleck's best directed movie. Okay, I can't believe I have 4 of these right now. Toy Story, Toy Story 2, Toy Story 3, and Toy Story 4. I cannot believe I have 4 of these movies, and all 4 of them are excellent. I can't believe it. I really can't believe it. I thought after 3 they were done, and then when they said 4 was coming out, I was like, I don't know if that's going to work. I know everybody said this about Toy Story 4, but it's true. Nobody thought it would be good, and it was awesome. Training Day. Excellent. What? Do you want to be in the video? She just wants all the attention right now. Treasure Planet. Trick or Treat. Probably the best Halloween movie, or at least my favorite Halloween movie. Tropic Thunder. Hilarious. Don't knock these over, Lid, please. Troy. Awesome movie. True Romance. Gotta sneeze. Whew. True Grit. I'm gonna sneeze. I know I am. The Truman Show. Probably Jim Carrey's best movie. Okay. Whew. Okay, we got a kind of a controversial set of movies here. We got Unbreakable. We got Split. And we got Glass. Now, Unbreakable will always be my favorite M. Night Shyamalan movie. One of my favorite movies ever. And I think these two are about on par with each other. I know a lot of people did not like Glass, especially the critics. It's just another one from this year that I just completely disagree with people on. A lot of people didn't like it. They thought it was betrayed everything about the Unbreakable, and I don't know. I think all 3 of these movies are really good. Obviously, this one's the best. But yeah, I will stand by the fact that Glass is a good movie. Anyway, Uncle Buck. Classic John Candy. Under the Skin. Very different kind of movie for Scarlett Johansson. Unforgiven. Probably repeating a lot of what I said last video. Unknown, but you know, whatever. Unstoppable. The Untouchables. Fun little gangster movie. Up. Ooh, getting all snotty. Upgrade. Kind of an underwatched movie from last year. Check it out. It's a lot of fun. The Upside. I haven't seen this yet, but I picked it up because I love Bryan Cranston and Kevin Hart. And I've heard that the movie's pretty good. Let's see. Us. This is the follow-up to Get Out from Jordan Peele. And I really liked it. I know there's a lot of people who said it wasn't as good or there was a big disappointment. It certainly is not as good as Get Out, but it's still a really good little horror movie. The Usual Suspects. Good movie. V for Vendetta. Excellent film. And I just picked this one up recently. Venom. Definitely not the best movie, but you know what? I think this is another one the critics were a little too harsh on. Definitely a lot of fun. The Voices. A very, very dark comedy. A Walk Among Tombstones. Love me some Liam Neeson. Wall-E. War of the Worlds. Warrior. Really, really good movie. Another one that gets me emotional every time I watch it. Watchmen. I haven't heard much about the TV series, but The Way, Way Back. A really good coming-of-age film from this decade. We Bought a Zoo. Feel good movie. The Wedding Singer. I definitely think Adam Sandler's best movie. What We Do in the Shadows. One of my favorite recent comedies, for sure. Whiplash. Absolute masterpiece. One of my favorite movies of all time. Everything about this movie, I think, is just spot on. White Christmas. Classic Christmas movie. Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I watched some of the the VFX artist react videos, and they were going through a lot of the shots in this movie, and it's kind of incredible the stuff they did to make this movie back in the 80s. It's really impressive. Wind River. Brutal movie. Winter's Bone, before Jennifer Lawrence was a big deal. The Witch. I recently watched this because I went to see The Lighthouse this past couple months, which I have a review for that movie on my channel. It's one of the only movie reviews I have on my channel. But yeah, I recently watched this to get ready to watch The Lighthouse because I wanted to see Robert Eggers' first movie. And I was very impressed. I know a lot of people already said they loved it, and I do too. Wolf of Wall Street, the movie that should have got DiCaprio his Oscar. But at least he has one now. Wonder Woman. I'm pretty excited for the sequel. I got a lot of snot in my nose right now. World War Z. Like I said, I do have The World's End. It would be right here. Wreck-It Ralph. And Ralph Breaks the Internet. I thought this was a pretty good sequel. Last year was just a year for like sequels that were good, but not as good as the original. The Wrestler. Great movie. X-Men. The OG. Then we got X-Men 2. Maybe still my favorite. It's a tie between that and Days of Future Past. X-Men The Last Stand. Everyone hates this movie. I think it's okay. X-Men Origins Wolverine. Definitely the worst of the bunch, but I can't not own a movie that Hugh Jackman is Wolverine in. As horrible as it may be. X-Men First Class. A lot better. The Wolverine. I recently rewatched this again, and it's still really good. It's just that last part of the movie where he fights the big gigantic robot thing. I'm just like, why? It betrays the whole tone of the movie. Anyway, X-Men Days of Future Past might be my favorite. Not sure yet. X-Men Apocalypse, another one that critics hated for some reason that I just think they were wrong. And this one I have not seen. I just got it this year for Christmas. X-Men Dark Phoenix. I know everybody seems to hate this movie, and they're probably even right, but I couldn't not own it because I own all the other X-Men movies. And then, of course, the best of the bunch, one of the best superhero movies ever made, Logan. Love you, Hugh Jackman. You did such a great job as Wolverine. Yes Man, classic Jim Carrey. Zodiac, probably one of the better real life murder stories. Zombieland, I did see the sequel, and I really enjoyed it. Not as good as this one, but it was closer to being as good as I thought it would be. And last but not least, Zootopia. Okay, I believe that is all my movies. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys on the next video, whenever that may be. See y'all next time.